Hello, and in our textbook on page 46, 5C, today we do time capsules. We try to understand and react to a radio program about time capsules. And as you can see, there is a picture of the Westinghouse time capsule. Let's ask a question: what is the point of a time capsule? Well, I guess the point of a time capsule is that it shows people in the future what life was like at the time when the objects were buried in the time capsule. We can also wonder about what kind of items would be interesting to people in the future. So the kinds of items I think that would be interesting to future generations might include objects that tell them about everyday life, about technology, about the culture of the time, the price of things, and what was happening in the world at that period. Have you ever seen a time capsule, or have you maybe ever found a time capsule? Okay, we go to exercise number 2, vocab. Complete the compound nouns using the words below. Check in a dictionary to see if they are written as one or two words. Number 1, alarm clock. Number 2, can opener. Number 3, tape measure. Number 4, toothbrush. Number 5, lipstick. Number 6, baseball. Number 7, light switch. Number 8, newsreel. I'm going to read to you a radio program, and we have to figure out what was buried in the park in New York. Presenter: good afternoon. I'm standing in a park in New York City in the USA, Flushing Meadows Park to be precise, and about 15 meters below my feet, below the ground, is a time capsule. That's a metal container with various interesting things inside. This time capsule was buried in 1939, and to talk about it I'm joined by Harvard Professor of Linguistics Henry Wolfson. Professor: good afternoon. Presenter: hi, thanks for joining us. Now, first of all, who buried this time capsule all those years ago in 1939? Professor: well, it was a group of engineers from a big company here in New York called the Westinghouse Electric and Manufacturing Company. Presenter: so why did they bury it, and why did they do it then? Professor: well, they buried it in 1939 because that year in New York there was a World Fair, an international celebration of human achievement and technology. In fact, there was another World Fair in New York in 1964, and they buried a second time capsule that year too, in the same place. Presenter: so we're standing above 2 time capsules. Professor: that's right. Well, anyway, the point of a time capsule is that you bury certain things that give a picture of what the world is like and what life is like for the people who live in it. The idea is when people in the future dig up the time capsule and look inside, they'll learn a lot about the world of the people who buried it. Presenter: when will that be? Professor: when will the capsule be opened? Not until the year 6939. That's 5,000 years exactly after it was buried. Both the time capsules, the 1939 capsule and the 1964 capsule, will be opened that year. Presenter: I see. Now, this first time capsule, what did it contain? Professor: lots of things. Firstly, they put 35 small items inside the capsule, everyday items to give an idea of life in the 20th century. For example, they included a pen, an alarm clock, a watch, a doll, a baseball, and even a packet of cigarettes. Secondly, they included lots of different materials, glass, rubber, plastic, metal, and so on, to show which materials humans had discovered or invented by 1939. Presenter: right, so this isn't a small capsule, then it's quite big. Professor: the capsule is 229 centimeters long, and it's long and thin like a giant pen. Presenter: oh, okay, so what else is inside? Professor: well, there's lots of cultural information, books, magazines, news, bulletins, messages from famous people like Albert Einstein and so on. They're all on special film with instructions on how to view them. Presenter: yes, I suppose in 5,000 years' time, technology will be very different. They might not know what film is. Professor: they probably won't, and in fact, they probably won't understand the books and magazines anyway, because the English language, if it still exists, will be very different. Presenter: different in what way? Professor: in every way. Vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar. Languages change even in the space of a few hundred years. 5,000 years is a very long time. So the time capsule contains a complete guide to the grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation of 20th century English. Presenter: I see, but do you know what occurs to me? What happens if everybody just forgets about the capsule? Professor: that's an excellent question. And the people who buried the time capsule thought of that. So they wrote a special book about the time capsule called the Book of Record, and sent it to museums and libraries all around the world. In the year 6939, somebody, somewhere, will find a copy of the book, probably a digital copy, and learn about the time capsule in Flushing Meadows Park. Presenter: interesting. Thank you, Professor. So what was buried in the park in New York? Well, 2 time capsules were buried from 1939 and 1964. Number 6. We choose the correct answers. Number 1. The interview is taking place in Flushing Meadows Park. C, because the time capsules are buried in the park. 2. Why are there 2 time capsules? C, because there were 2 world fairs. 3. How were the 35 items inside the first time capsule chosen? B, they showed what everyday life was like in 1939. Number 4. What is the connection between Albert Einstein and the time capsule? C, there's a message from him in the capsule. 5. What does the capsule contain to help people in the future understand the contents? 5. A, complete guide to the English language. 6. What does the Book of Record contain? B, information about the time capsule. And now we go to the workbook, page 42, 5C, time capsules, and we do exercise 1. That's all for now. Bye-bye.